Hello, hello. How you doing?
Hey, how are you, brother?
Oh, I'm doing great. Everything going all right?
That's good, man. I had scheduled for 11:15 and just life happens, man. I got my grandkids staying with me last night, so I had to change some diapers right at that moment. Yeah,
I understand that.
diapers, man.
Grandkids. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, four. Wow. I mean, my oldest, is my daughter, and she just, I guess, it was one of those COVID pandemic things. That's where she started having her first one. So my
Uh,
oldest grandson is 5, and his name is Fender, like after Fender.
oh yeah. Oh, I
So
love that. That's so
Fender
cool.
Gage, Fender Gage is his name, and then my granddaughter's name is Symphony. My other grandson's name is Credence, and then
Wow.
the new baby girl, her name is Harmony. So
Yeah.
my daughter's naming all these musical names, man. So
Yeah. Well, and then of course it looks like you have the best room behind you, so there's going to be some good music coming for years, it looks like.
man, this is a really just it's a toy store to a musician, when you have your own little studio, because this is actually what you're looking at this is where the latest record was recorded.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Well, I was wondering, about the time between records, but obviously you're very busy right now.
Well, yeah, I tell you what, it's a non-stop thing. I mean, I'm not just a musician. I'm not just a lonely boy. I'm a dad. I'm a uncle. I'm a brother. There's so many titles that I've acquired since I was born. First I was just a baby boy. There was a cousin, and I was a brother, and then all those titles up to grandpa. I carry that title pretty proudly, man. I just love my grandkids, man. It just kind of changes your whole perspective on things, because you know what love is when you have your own kids. It's an automatic thing. You didn't have to take them to dinner, you didn't have to go to the dance. It's an instant love without all that garbage. So when you have your grandkids, man, it's man, times 10, times 20.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain to people, man. Like, and people told me before I became a grand, oh, it's so different, man. It's like, whoa, man.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, what a joy and what a good place to be in life. And I think that's maybe why the record turned out so good too, right?
Man, thank you, brother. I mean, that's a great compliment. I mean, I can only agree, because with time, and the families together and everything that's gone since we did our last record, everything
Mm.
happened since then. It definitely gets a little bit of summed up in music form, when we record something, because our music to us is very personal. It's like having another kid. When you make a song, we've had people all the time ask us, which one's your favorite song, man? And it's hard when you have children to go like, well, this one's my favorite, this one's my favorite. We just weren't brought up that way, because everything has its place. And at that moment in time, when your ears hit hearing it and your heart's open to it, it's the best song in the world, just depending on how, and that depends on whatever song it is. We're talking about our music, but
Yeah.
maybe, I'm just saying, yeah. So it kind of sums up what we've been doing since the last time. When you hear the record, there's a lot that's happened since the last one we released,
Oh yeah,
because it was a
for
long
sure. Well, and that's the thing too is each record marks a different place in your life, and with this many years it's passed, a lot's happened, and
Yeah,
so kind of gives you a lot of material to write about as well, right?
yeah, it sure does, man. It definitely does. They told us when we recorded our first record, you spend your whole life waiting to record that first record, and then when you do your second record, it's not that long. You don't, you gotta, when you're in the business and you're trying to, stay in the mix, I guess, sort of things, you gotta stay up with whatever the business is saying. Oh, we need something, we need something. And for us as musicians, it feels hard to rush that, for it to be really real. You got to live, you got to live to really when you're singing about it or playing about it, it's not just something you're imagining, it's something you've actually gone through, you know.
Mhm.
And that's what we try to express through our music and our playing, man, is that it's kind of like a recorded milestone, if you say, if you can, you know, with every time. And then, wow, you didn't do a record in 10 years. It's like, wow, okay, what happened in that time? Well, let's sing about it, you know? So these songs are about those times, started with the song like Send More Love.
Yeah.
And that kind of, it was written right at the beginning of that whole COVID pandemic thing.
Mhm.
And then there's a lot more that the song's talking about. If you listen to the
Yeah.
song, this world is going crazy. And this is at the time when that stuff was going on with
Yeah.
Trump before he was president, Black Lives Matters, all the storming of the Capitol. I mean, there was just so much all over the media and on social media that for someone that don't have social media, you heard about it, you know.
Oh
So
yeah.
it it I was, you know, and just kind of thinking on it, man, and sat down in front of a window and began to pray again, you know, and I asked
Mhm.
myself the question, like, man, what if you could talk into the man upstairs, man, what would what would people ask him? I started tripping on that question.
Mhm.
Would you, you know, if someone really believes in him or whatnot, what could you ask for? Nothing more, because you know, if you believe, you get all this love. But that came to my thought. I'd be like, well, I would just, because I kind of felt like a kid at college when things are going wrong and you lost all your money and your dorm room's been raided and you're like, Mom, Dad, I need money. I'm broke, you know. It's like calling God and saying, hey, Father, you know, we need some help down here because, you know, we need some more love, you know, because it's going broke down here, you know, we're going broke. And that's kind of the whole concept of that, you know. It's just calling and kind of telling on everybody in a sense, you know. It's like, hey, this world is going crazy. That's what that song was about. That kind of like, I'm not sure if that kicked off everything or maybe you know, it was the first song that kind of focused on for this record, and then everything else just kind of through the years we've like, hey man, check this out, let's do this, let's do that. The beauty of that was that we did have at our fingertips, you know, the luxury of having access to a studio, you know, because
Yeah.
we never had that. As much as we've been in the music, as much time as we've been there, we never knew what that was like, you know, and kind of never thought about it, because when you're just going and you're just living in the moment and you're going, you know, you're not really thinking about the next day, you know, and we, if it wasn't for, I keep talking about COVID and I hate, man, but
Yeah.
it was a huge, I think it's a huge turning point in everyone's lives. And you know, if you didn't get a chance to stop and look at your life and look at yourself, if you have kids or your marriage and everything, you know, it just kind of, it came to a halt. So,
Mhm.
and I've been going since I can remember, man. As a child, it was never nonstop. And so what would COVID seem like a curse to most folks, it was like a blessing to us, because it was like, man, we never knew what a break was. We never knew what that was. And good grief, it was the longest break I ever thought I was going to have, man, there for a second. And it developed what we have here today, you know. We were able to get things for a studio and learn things about Pro Tools, computers and things a little bit, and just
Mhm.
kind of grew in the recording world and during that time, you know,
Oh yeah. Of
which was
course.
pretty fun, you know, pretty cool, because, you know, I never I never cared about recording, man. I'm always about live, you know, in that moment, spontaneity. And I just always, every time we recorded, man, I was going, we're going to the studio again, you
Mm.
know. But I've learned to really love and respect the art of it in itself, to just record,
Mhm.
because there's so many techniques and things that are in a whole nother world, man, that I just didn't step into, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and speaking of playing live, I've seen you guys live, and you just make it look so easy, and you can see the kids looking up at you, going, "Ah, that's what I want to do." And so, and what kind of advice do you give those kids? Because they're coming up behind you. Shoot, it sounds like there's some in your family.
I any advice that I think I would give the youth of this country or anyone willing to lend an ear is the same advice I would give my children. And I always tell them since they were growing up, man, and because they do music now, and it was never poked at them to, hey, you're gonna sit here and you're gonna practice an hour a day, or no, it was something I would tell them what I tell my kids, and there's three words, man, and that's never give up.
Hmm.
Because this world that we live in, man, even if you get pick up a hobby, it makes you there's things in this world that can make you just feel like you're not good enough or you shouldn't keep going, you know. So I would tell my best advice would be never give up. And if you love music, I think it's impossible to give up because it
Hmm.
becomes a part of you. And the youth, man, they're like sponges, dude. They'll pick it up, man, and you'll see a dang 7-year-old doing a 50-year-old dude lick that's took him his whole life to learn, man. And I think that's very beautiful that children or the youth have the option to be able to grow much faster than we did as kids, man. I was with a little tape recorder, a little 45, record, trying to listen back and play it back, and just to learn things because everything we play is all by ear. We've never
Hmm.
been classically trained or anything like that other than dad being there saying, hey, this is a C, this is a G, this is a D, this is an E. Now the sky's the limit, and
Yeah.
I'd say I would give that same advice to the youth, man. The sky's the limit. That's something our dad told us, and he is our biggest hero, man. He's the guy that he showed us everything. And we just unfortunately lost him this past year,
Yeah.
and that threw us a big life-changing experience as well.
Hmm.
We lost our mom, now we lost our dad, and that transition is not easy to adhere to. We're still going through it, and we just I think it um, just helps us remind us of where we come from and things when you think about where you come from. It's just for us, music was everything from dad, man. We
Yeah.
spent time trying to make him proud, and when we did a new record, they were the first ones we wanted to show was mom and dad. Hey, look, check this out. We didn't care if anybody else liked it. If they liked it, we made a hit.
Yeah. Well, they still are proud, and you got to continue to honor them and their name, right?
Yeah, sir. Yeah, we
Yeah.
keep trying, and Um, back to the youth though, man, I think it's beautiful and wonderful that cats, have the opportunity and just the tools to be able to learn at a different level than we did when we were kids, man. I mean, there was no YouTube and these things to pick up and
Hmm.
Stevie Ray Vaughan was or Slash and these
Yeah.
things. I just think it's right at your fingertips. We live at a fast pace now, and you can see it in the youth, man. So, I mean, really, we're the ones that got to keep up with them.
Yeah, that is true. So you're gonna like this. So my co-host is Drew Pearson, one of our great Dallas Cowboys. Of course, caught the Hail Mary, went in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, and we'd love to ask people their Hail Mary moment. So he told me I have to ask you your Hail Mary moment. That moment in your life or career you just had to go for it and it worked out for you.
Oh man, there's so many, dude. I mean, it seems like my whole life's been one big Hail Mary, man. So,
That's true.
I mean, whew, man, I'd have to say there's so many things. Man, in the music part of it, man, there's so many moments and times it's hard to really pin it down because we're such a live band. Everything we did was a throw and go. It wasn't rehearsed or practiced. So, I mean, everything we've ever done has been like a Hail Mary. Let's see what happens. Let's hope we go for it. But I mean, a really specific time that I could remember going like, oh man, I can't do anything about this. We gotta just go. We gotta just do it. Was at the Grammys when we won the Grammy, and they set up a special stage for us, like in the middle of the audience, and
Yeah.
it was tall, dude, but it was so tiny, just enough for three brothers to not. move or fall off into. If we fell, I was going to fall right into Kenny G, man. You know, it's like they're all looking up at you, man. All these celebrities, I mean, everyone from Jay-Z to Tim McGraw to Bonnie Raitt. I mean, every face you could see is one that you've been inspired by at least
Mhm.
once in your life, man. So you're standing in the sea of these people, and they want you to play "How Far Is Heaven" when it comes on, and these things. We're just like, okay, let's just go, man. Let's just go for broke. Let's do it. And man, I can't believe we did it and that we actually won. You know,
Yeah.
it's definitely a Hail Mary moment because man, we had no expectations growing up because if we did, we were just going to be usually disappointed. So we were just happy to be there. And when we won, man, it was like we felt like the average Joe dude that just doesn't win something won something that night. So
Mhm.
all of every one of those persons won it with us. Yeah, we didn't even know what to say or anything, man. And our dad was there. He was
Mhm.
with us. He was the first dude to stand up and raise his hands, man. And they got pictures of it, man. It'll tear me up, you know. But that was a Hail Mary moment. And like I said, there's been a bunch, man. It's
Yeah.
really hard to not think of in the life of Los Lonely Boys every time we hit the stage that it wasn't. Sorry, that was my son. He's
Oh
drumming.
yeah.
That it's every time we hit the stage is a Hail Mary moment because we don't really know what's going to happen, and we don't ever play the same song even though it's the same song twice the same way.
Mhm.
And you can try and rehearse for to do that all the time, but anytime you play it live, it's going to be different. It's all based on the people and the message and the moment.
Mhm.
It just all lines up, man. Just one morning you'll pour a bowl of cereal and you don't spill not one Cocoa Puff, man. But the next day you do, you'll be like, God dang, I gotta get Cocoa Puffs all over the floor. That's right. So I
That,
would, we all kind of every day is just a Hail Mary, man, because it's beautiful to have hope, faith, and love. But the greatest of these is love, man.
that's right. Yeah, we talk about that on the show too, is that success mindset that you have to have, whether or not you're feeling it or not. And as creative types, we're hard on ourselves. So is there something you tell yourself that kind of keeps you on that right path?
Oh man, brother, I just shut up, Henry.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta tell myself to just be quiet. You don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, I don't want to throw people off or anything, man. But what I do personally, and I think my brothers do, is we pray, man. We pray, we meditate in senses that helps us just kind of relax to try to just go for it because it makes anything that we do in this business, man. It seems to be like a big decision because music is our life. It's what
Hmm.
we do, and we enjoy giving the message of love through music to people, man. So, how do you prepare for that? Is just try to, I don't know, man, just try to hope that you can wake up that next day and hope you don't spill a Cocoa Puff on the floor, Just a big
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Well, hey, we're excited to have you go on tour now, and we're gonna see you at the Longhorn Ballroom in Dallas. Now, I got to know about the set, like because you have so many good songs now. I don't know how you boil it down to one set, right?
Oh, brother, I appreciate that, man. Just the compliment of saying that we have good songs. It's a throw and go, man. It's a let's see how it goes. We don't, like I said, we don't sit there and say, hey, here's a set list and stuff. No, sometimes we'll have a list with songs and stuff that Ringo will look at or we'll look at. We'll just kind of just pick what
Hmm.
feels right at the moment, and when we're live, man, it's hard to not want to just get down and get down and get down, man. And we forget that there's songs that people want to hear sometimes. But
Yeah, that's a good problem to
yeah,
have.
it's just a natural process, really. I think we don't really know what we're going to play that night. It just happens. It just
Yeah.
happens. Usually when we're in Texas, man, it's home, so it doesn't matter what we play. It's very accepted and embraced, man, because I think Texas is proud of its Los Lonely Boys, man, and it
Right.
I think it embraces Los Lonely Boys, and every time we play, we felt it, and because Texas shows it, man. You know.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Well, last thing then, of course, hey, this is still fun for you. You've got the whole legacy coming up in front of you. But it's but the theme of this album has been really interesting. So, what is it that you open that people will kind of think about, kind of feel when they hear this great new album?
I think what my hope is that when people take the time to listen, I think that it's gonna definitely speak to the long fan that's been with
Hmm.
us. You know, they're gonna feel like, oh man, I haven't talked to that friend in a long time. You know, it's really good to hear them. It's kind of that kind of a feeling, and I think that when people do hear it, I think that they're going to feel at home. You know, and that's what we hope, man. It's just that when you do hear it, you get a sense of comfort and familiarity with the sounds and the words chosen to. So I think if you take the time, you're going to find a real personal connection with any one of the songs because well, Texican rock and roll isn't a genre. It's a genre in itself that goes from if it's going to sound like Stevie Wonder, it's going to sound like Stevie. It's going to sound like Willie Nelson. It's going to sound like Willie. The songs speak to us, and we've kind of embraced that too through the years, where our songs just kind of they tell us what they're going to sound like, not us tell them, you know. Because, like I said, they're like children. You can't tell your children, "Hey, man, I don't like that nose." You know, can we get a new nose? You know, it's all a beautiful creation, and you just got to embrace it. You know, and I hope
Yeah.
people do with it. You know.
Absolutely. Well, I love that. Well, we're looking forward to seeing you here in Dallas, and I appreciate your time and the wonderful answers today. And congratulations again on the new album, and we'll see you soon, right?
Yeah, brother. God bless you, man. And that's awesome. You talked to Drew, man. I have collected Dallas Cowboy stuff through the years, and
Yeah.
I got one of his books, man, that he signed, and it says
Yeah.
Henry from Drew, man. I was like, oh man, dude. That's like, as a Cowboys fan, man, bleeding blue. It was like just so awesome, man. So awesome. So
Oh, that's good. Well, we got to have you on with him sometime then. He would love
I
that.
would love to, dude. I would love to. You know, my little brother Ringo too would love to, man.
Yeah.
He's a guy that he's technical when it comes to football. Like he was like, I
Oh,
watch
yeah.
fantasies, I play fantasy football, I do that. You know. And me, I just been, born into cowboy blood, man. So
That's right.
no
I
clue.
love that. Well, then we'll have you both on very very soon, and hey, we'll have to come see you when you're here.
Man, please do, brother. Be good to see you in person.